it is the interest of the health of the citizens to ban tobacco. Mr. President, when we consider the negative effect of it, we build cancer centers, we build other health institutions to manage persons who suffer the effect of tobacco, even the effect of it on the unborn child, who has contributed nothing to it. Mr. President, we should be bold enough to ban tobacco.
The issue of banning tobacco hinges on fundamental human rights of an individual. And therefore, if you ban tobacco, you must ban several other things. No wonder. E.g., you must ban corruption. You must ban corruption. You must also ban drinking. You must also ban illicit sexual intercourse. You must also ban lesbianism. Therefore, a human brain is created with the freedom of choice. There is no doubt that tobacco affects somebody's health. And that is what this bill seeks to achieve. The bill seeks to say, this is the danger of tobacco. And a sane person with full human brain and capacity to identify what will be injurious to my health. Then, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, no other person would tell me what to do and what not to do, because I have been given this human capacity to choose.
We have a lot of economic policy where we are talking of 2020, we are talking of Millennium Development Goal, where we are striving to generate employment opportunities. To the best of my knowledge, Mr. President, in 2011 alone, about $173 million was realized as export proceeds from tobacco exports. Many people are employed in this particular industry. Then, when we get to the belt where tobacco is being planted, we know that a lot of people are employed on the farm. We are having a program to diversify. We have been talking that we must move away from our monoculture oil production. Granted that all the attendant health hazards for tobacco is as highlighted in the lead paper. I have never spoken in my life. But notwithstanding, I believe we need to balance whatever we are doing so that we don't further create further distortion in our economic policy.
This bill is just asking us to repeal the existing Act of 1990 on tobacco control and then put this in place. And it went on to show all the medical hazards that go with smoking. Most of us know that smoking is dangerous to health. And by the law we have today, is usually inscribed on the packets that some of the smoker friends of mine carry about. And so they know the danger. But like Senator Ningi said, we are all adults and we have our fundamental rights of freedom as enshrined in the Constitution. And those freedom, like Senator Enang also said, stops at a certain place because we need to make the atmosphere free of tobacco smoke. Second-hand smokers is even what I want to talk about here, because people don't know that they are second-hand smokers. In this chamber, all of us sitting here, we consider about 60% second-hand smokers without knowing. Because the law on smoking for now is only applicable in the aircrafts. If you go to other public places, public transport, the laws are not there. And this is what this particular bill is trying to do, to protect the unsuspecting and unknowing second-hand smokers.
We went on the streets of Abuja to find out from residents if they support an outright ban on smoking in the country, and this is what they said.
Yes, I really agree with it. Come to think of that, if the federal government of Nigeria says nobody should smoke cigarette again in this country, I think it's a welcome development. Number one, they are trying to protect the health of every citizen of this nation by saying that they should stop smoking cigarette.
Well, I think for the government to ban smoking in Nigeria is a good idea, because plenty of people now die because of smoking, and I think it's a very good idea for them to ban it, because smoking is not even good to the health. In particular, it's not good.
For my own personal opinion, I support the government should ban smoking. That is for my own personal opinion. That is what I can support, because I don't smoke. I never tested it. I know that it may be good for some people, but I never see a doctor who can recommend smoke for someone.
They welcome to development, because the smokers today, if you look at some people, we see what cigarettes have done in their body. So many people, you know, tomorrow, maybe next tomorrow when you see him, you'll be seeing different life on the person, especially the young ones that we are having today. Like in Main Road here, you'll be seeing someone driving smoking. And something that's smoking like as if that he have some spirit that is leading the smoke. Because somebody that's smoking, whenever you see them, like I have lived with somebody that is smoking before, every time by 2 o'clock, I have, or even in the midnight, we'll be smoking even in the morning. Before he did anything, he have to smoke before any other thing. And at last, you see him macheting, see him drying for nothing's sake.
The Tobacco Regulation Bill has passed second reading in the Senate, but some Nigerians are not optimistic that the president would sign it into law after it has been passed by the National Assembly. Their feelings are not unjustified because the bill had been passed in the 6th Assembly but was not signed into law by the president.
Let me remind us that we passed this bill actually in the 6th Senate, and Mamora was the sponsor. He talked extensively, and we had a similar debate. The same way we talk now, people who want to go to hell and they see it, if they want to walk in there, we should allow them to walk in there. Others say no, restrict them. Don't let them walk in there. When it goes for public hearing, they will decide whether people should be allowed to freely walk to hell or we should restrain them from walking to hell. But the dangers inherent in smoking are very obvious. And I think that at the end of the day, we'll be able to get feelers from the general public. My prayer is that this time around, once we pass this bill, I hope that it will be signed, because we're just left hanging. At the moment, it's neither here nor there. Nothing has been done. Hopefully, this time around, the executive will be able to sign it. Powerful groups are behind the bill. There are all sorts of people. It's not as straightforward. And I remember that in the 6th Senate, a lot of lobbyists were all over the place when this bill was being debated. So I'm not surprised that we eventually didn't sign it, but we should have courage to at least do something.
Would the bill suffer the same fate again after it has been passed by the National Assembly? Only time will tell.